Hey everyone, it's the Four Gun Guy, and today I'm going to do a pretty short video on barrels. So let's talk about where you might want to look at getting your barrel, what types of barrels or brands of barrels you might want to look at, what I'm using, and then I want to talk about the main topic of this video, and that is barrel life. So we're going to talk about, depending on the cartridge you go with, and I'm doing a video on that coming up, which barrels you might want to consider, how much life you're going to get out of those barrels. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Well, let's talk about what the pros use here. And this is off of Precision Rifle Blog. This is from 2024, so it is a little dated, but I'll put it up here. But look, the most popular brands here are Bartline, Proof, Krieger, Benchmark, Hawk Hill, and then you get down into like Brux, Geisley, MPA, and those companies. And the one at the very bottom there, that Excalibur, that's really kind of starting to come up in the ranks because they have really good barrels. In fact, that's what I have on my 6BRA right now is an Excalibur barrel, and I'm loving this thing. It's working out really, really well. And I just ordered another one that I had chambered as my next barrel. So that's really what the quote pros are using, and this is really what you see when you're shooting in PRS matches, right? There's not a lot of different barrels. I don't think you can go wrong with Bartline or Krieger for anything. Some of the other barrels I've heard mixed results on, but those two are really top of the line, and as I said, that Excalibur is really coming along. Now, let's get into expected barrel life depending on the cartridge that you're going to shoot. All right, well, as I said, I'm shooting a 6BRA, and I'll get an okay barrel life out of that. But here's what I did. I went out, did some research, and then I asked my buddies, one of whom is my gunsmith, about what they thought about barrel life of the various cartridges. And I'm doing an entire video, it's probably going to come out after this one, on cartridge selection, right? So if you're a new shooter especially, some of the things you're going to want to consider from a cartridge standpoint when you're getting into PRS. This topic dovetails into that and is included in that, but I wanted to keep this separate. So, generally speaking, and I'll put this up here as well, if you're going with a 6mm Creedmoor, you're going to basically get 1,500 to 2,000 rounds out of your barrel. And there's a bunch of different factors for that. You're probably running a bit faster, a bit hotter. It's a larger case capacity with a smaller bullet. So that thing's screaming down the barrel, and it's probably eroding those lands faster than these other cartridges are. Next in line there, 6mm GT, probably 2,000 to 2,500 rounds. So that's not too bad. The next down, the BRA, which is what I run, and the Dasher, you're probably looking on average 2,500 to 3,500 rounds with those. 6.5 Creedmoor, you're probably looking somewhere in the 3,000 to 3,500 range. And when you get up into 308, I mean, my guys were telling me that some of theirs have 7,000 rounds in them, and they're still shooting really, really well. So again, I'm not going to go into the details of why these numbers are the way they are. It just has to do with how fast you're running things, the charges that you're running, the caliber that you're running. Depending on those cartridges, when I start breaking things down into how much is it costing me to shoot, this is an area that people don't think about when they get into PRS. Cost-wise, I'll put something up here, but it's generally going to be something like, you know, if I want a new 6mm BRA barrel, if I go through Krieger or Bartline or some folks that sell those, right? Bug Holes is a good site. You're going to generally look at, I don't know, 550 to 700 for the barrel, and that's the blank, right? Then you're going to pay a gunsmith to chamber that barrel for you. So depending on your gunsmith, that could be another $250 to $400 or $500. That new barrel could cost you anywhere from, on the very low end, say $600 to $1,000 just for a barrel. Okay? So guys, if I'm looking then back at these numbers for barrel life, and I look at a 6mm Creedmoor, if I get 2,000 rounds out of that barrel, that could be anywhere from 50 cents, let's say 35 cents to 50 cents a firing, a round. You got to add that in then, right? To the cost of you doing business with that cartridge. Then you're going to get into the benefits and drawbacks of each of these, which is I'm going to cover in my cartridge video, because again, you may look at this and go, well, I'll go with a 308, right? Because if I get 7,000 rounds out of there, man, that's going to last me a long time. And I'm sitting here to tell you today, guys, the 308, you're going to struggle, right? You got recoil, you got a slow round, and for PRS out to 1,000, 1,100 yards, you're just going to struggle, right? Same thing with a 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a great round. I started PRS with a 6.5 Creedmoor, love it. My gas gun up here is 6.5. But again, you could struggle, and you're only going to get another 1,000 rounds out of it. Is that worth the struggle? So again, I'm going to discuss all this in my cartridge video, but I want you to start breaking things down into that, realizing that when you get into PRS, you're going to get in here all excited, but you're going to have to make some changes relatively quickly, either within a season or across seasons from a barrel perspective. So with all that said, let's move into some quick final thoughts. Final thought's pretty easy, right? If I have a barrel that's going to last me 2,500 rounds, and I'm going to shoot one match a month, and I'm going to practice with 50 rounds a month, then let's say that's 150 rounds at the end of the season. Roughly at the end of the season, right, I'll have about 1,800 rounds in that barrel. That's if I just practice once a month. You may go practice more than that. You may practice every week, even at 50 rounds in practice. There's 200 a month, just practice. Then the 100 for the match. In 12 months, that's 3,600 rounds. There you go. You do the math. You're out of a barrel. Now, let's start talking about, or let's talk really briefly, which I didn't cover before, about when do you change the barrel? So these barrels behind me, excuse me, some of them have 2,000, 2,500 rounds. Some of them have 1,800 rounds. And you have to realize I'm in a different place than you might be, right? I am now shooting to enjoy the sport and have fun. So if I'm in the middle of a match and this thing craps out on me, so be it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going for a national title. So again, it depends on what you want out of your experience, and that's what you're going to get out of your equipment. So there you have it. I think this is going to be a fairly quick one today. I wanted to bring this topic up because this is something we never talk about, right? We talk about the scope and the action and the stock or chassis and all this other stuff. No one ever talks about the thing that makes all this, or one of the things that makes all this happen. And the fact is, you're going to have to change that thing very often. One last thing I want to talk to you about is, if you're going to change barrels a lot, right? If you're practicing a lot and changing a barrel every year, you want to have a gunsmith that knows what they're doing, that uses the same reamer every time they ream chamber you a barrel, or you want to buy your own reamer and let them use it so they can chamber it exactly to what you have now. The thing I love about my gunsmith Larry is these other two new barrels I just got. He brought the rifle back to me and he goes, okay, I've got all three barrels. They're all the same. I don't have to change a thing with my cartridge or my load or anything. So just make sure that you don't switch gunsmiths, for example. This guy has a different reamer, or he chambers differently, and now all of a sudden you either can't chamber your round or you're getting some headspace damage and possibly separation because they didn't do it the same chamber job that you had in this barrel. So think about stuff like that, right? Make sure you have the right people doing the right work with the right tools. All right, short one hopefully. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate subs, likes, comments. Ask someone to sub if you don't mind. It really helps me out. And until next time, shoot straight.